Hello, everyone. Well, first, I'm just going to say thank you guys for all the things you guys are doing for all the students in the state of Utah. It's honestly amazing. I'm originally from LA, and we never had anything like this in our high schools, and it would have definitely helped me out. And I'll kind of explain why it will help me out down the line. So, as we get into it, so yes, I play football, but I kind of want to ask you guys all a question. Have you guys ever spent, days, weeks, months, years trying to get to a specific goal, opportunity, destination? By raising your hand. So, me, I've been playing football since I was like 3-4 years old. I played for a little league team called the Pasadena Trojans. And on my team, I had some of the best athletes, in my opinion, in our area. A lot of my teammates became NFL players, some of them in the NBA, some of them big-time college football players, and I was kind of I know I'm told now, I was kind of the little runt of the group. And it was a crazy experience because from that opportunity, I ended up here, and it was kind of the journey that I took. That every day I kept on working, kept on little reps, running routes, getting bigger, faster, stronger, things that our coaches would say, and it ended with this big moment right here. So. Yes, this is against BYU. This is Little Utah Tech. Utah Tech first started off as a junior college called Dixie College. Then it became a Division II, and now it's a Division I FCS school. And how the hell is it playing against BYU in the Edwards Stadium? A lot of people ask me that all the time. And well, this is part of the journey that we took. My first actual college football game I ever played in was at New Mexico Highlands University. If anybody knows where that is, does anybody know where New Mexico Highlands University is? Las Vegas, New Mexico. I've never been there a day in my life. My first game was on Thursday night in a high school stadium, around 2,000 people. And then my last game was in a LaVelle Edwards Stadium in front of 60,000 people. And this is me scoring a touchdown and some cool guy in the sea of blue, cheering us on. So, from that experience, obviously I scored, and then, kind of the I don't want to say the nicest, because getting hurt is never good. But the interesting part of my journey is that even at the pinnacle of my career, having the game of my life, I still ended up getting hurt. Only get to play 35 minutes. Ended up breaking my collarbone, dislocating it, and it was gruesome. It was bad. And if you know me, I'm kind of a hard head, so I kept on playing. So I hurt it even more. But this is kind of how I ended my football career. But the journey doesn't stop. Then I ended up getting carried off by my trainers. And this is a funny picture. If you go down to Utah Tech and visit some of these trainers, you actually see this picture inside of our training room. And as much as it looks probably sad or anything like that, it's a funny joke because if you look at my career, I've been kind of carried off by trainers a couple of times because, a 6'8" dude should not be playing football. So that kind of gets me into my my overall topic is the journey. So the journey has been important to me. It's important to everybody in this room. It's important to everybody in the world because the journey is what we're living in. We're living life. At the end of the day, there's a lot of destinations, there's a lot of goals, there's a lot of opportunities. But right now, we're still in the journey, we're still in the process. You guys have been teachers doing this for a long time, and you guys still wake up every day to keep on doing it. Teaching the next group of students, the next 30, 35, 40, however many is in your classroom, you guys keep on doing it because it's part of your journey. So I'm going to talk about kind of my journey, kind of where it got to me, and how I can sort of impact you guys. So, yes, I'm a Laker fan. I know there might be Jazz fans in here. This is a super cool quote from Kobe Bryant. It's not the destination, it's the journey. Meaning, like, the goal is for, I know there's like standards, there's tests, and I should know all these. I know. I'm becoming a teacher soon, so I'm going to get acquainted. Justin's back here. He's going to help me out, teaching them how it is. But, there's a lot of destinations in life, but, the journey is what really matters the most. And I think Kobe Bryant really exemplified it. So today what we're going to talk about is my Team Money Good story, the prodigy versus the worker, and then the personnel match in the scheme. And yes, there's going to be a lot of sports terms. I'm a sports guy. So let's get it back into my kind of college story. So born and raised in Los Angeles, California. Played football, played every sport, even volleyball, anything I can just be around and run around with my friends. Ended up getting a scholarship to then Dixie State University, came on campus back in 2017. Cool opportunity, was super blessed, but guy from LA coming to St. George, Utah was definitely a culture shock. Definitely didn't like the same things that I've seen growing up in LA or same type of people or things like that. But also on top of that, I didn't have my parents there. I didn't have my dad or my mom waking me up every day, getting me out of the bed, cooking meals for me, you know, the kind of essentials that you would think, you would know as an 18, 19-year-old. So instead of, making my own food or budgeting and all that sort of stuff, I seen there was an In-N-Out. Used to go In-N-Out every day. I seen there was I never heard of Cafe Rio before, but went to Cafe Rio a lot. Went to Durango's a lot. When I found out what Cliffside was out of my budget, but still went up there. And I ended up, I did my freshman year almost being like $1,000 to $2,000 in debt. And as an athlete, most athletes, they get a scholarship and you get stipend checks. And I got around like $1,500 a month. Blew it all on food. And as you can tell, didn't really gain any weight or anything like that, but it worked out. So from that experience, me and my dad had a conversation. So my little background on my dad's a real estate developer in LA and build multi-family condos. I just found out recently he did some affordable housing too. And we had a serious conversation because honestly, my dad didn't want me to move out to Utah or St. George or anything like that, but he said, you made a commitment to the school, you made a commitment to the team, you gotta see it through. Because I'm gonna go home. I was done, I was broke, I was playing, kind of the typical freshman years. It's not good at first. But he really sat me down, had a good conversation, and from that I started having a budget, started saving money. Then I started taking football more seriously, started taking school more seriously, and the rest was history. So that kind of goes down the line. So, 2018 comes, I start as a sophomore, have a good season. 2019 comes, start, have a good season. 2020 comes, everybody knows that 2020 comes crazy. But I end up, progressively getting better and better. But, this in life and also in the journey, things are thrown at you at so many different ways. It's pretty crazy. So at the end of 2020, our head coach, Paul Peterson, actually, he went to Beam High School, so if anybody knows Paul, it's my guy. But he brought us all up and told us, there's going to be this new thing called NIL, where you guys get to benefit off your name, image, and likeness. And in my brain, I'm like, nobody's going to, no company's going to come and sponsor a bunch of athletes at Utah Tech or anything like that. But to my surprise, from kind of what Beth said earlier, but I got a big NIL deal from Allstate, where Allstate sponsored around 25 NCAA athletes or football athletes, and they gave us all $40,000. And $10,000 was given to charity, and then they gave us $30,000. So understand that I've never seen $30,000 in my account ever in my life. It was not a video game or Monopoly or anything like that. I've never seen $30,000 straight cash in my account before. So from that, you would think from my dad's earlier conversation, a couple years before that, I'll be better with the money, budget, save, and invest and all that. I did not do that. Seen a cute girl, asked her on a date. We went to Cliffside. I was like $200. SoFi Stadium just got built in LA. I'm a Chargers fan. Took me and my 4 friends to the Chargers game. We're not gonna sit in the nosebleeds. That's for the nosebleed people. I got money now. Went down to not the field level, but like the club suite levels. That was like $3,000. I'm like, oh, $3,000. But I had the money. But I would say before I continue on with my expenses, one thing I did do that was super smart was I had an accountant and I paid my taxes off. So that's one thing I did. But after that, the money kept going down and down and dwindling. So from that experience, I'm like, damn, I just lost $30,000 in a year. And, I didn't know what to do or I didn't know what was going on. But from that situation, I kind of learned that, a lot of college athletes don't get the same financial education, especially what they're doing in the state of Utah on the high school level. I never got it before. My dad was good enough to give it to me at kind of 18, 19. I was still in college. I don't need my parents. He's just talking or anything like that. But from that experience, I was like, okay, there's a real problem facing us as college athletes right now. There's college athletes that I know, a couple of my friends, they went to some big SEC schools and they're making a couple $1 million a year. And believe me, if I see $1 million in my account, it would be totally different. So from that, I started this thing called teammoneygood, which is a team of college athletes learning about financial literacy and then going out and teaching to the next generation. So my last year at Utah Tech, I had a professor by the name of Shannon Googler, and he taught me about this model called learn and teach to learn. And I thought it was so impactful because he was teaching us in classes, of business classes, like, well, we're talking about entrepreneurship, we're talking about balance sheets. Go out and teach a mentor or somebody you know about a balance sheet. And then that knowledge that you go out and teach reinforces the knowledge you just learned. And I thought it was super cool, and I'm like, you know what, us as athletes is go out and learn it ourselves, and then go out and teach it, and that would reinforce the knowledge. So that's what we did. Now, when I was coming up with this idea, I was in an entrepreneurship class with another guy, and I'm shouting all these ideas. I'm like, you know what, we're gonna go teach college kids. We're gonna go teach, we might even go teach those. We might go teach all this. And he was like, no, pump your brakes. You guys are barely 18, 19, 20 years old. You guys can't go out and teach that yet. So he kind of came up with the idea and kind of told us, you guys should start at the younger age. So what we did was, I was working as an intern for a company called PEG down in Provo, but they had a project going in the Desert Color. And there's a school, which last night I found out there's a teacher from here, Freedom Prep Elementary, or Freedom Prep Academy. And so I seen the school in the Outlook, and I kind of just walked in, and there's a principal named Principal Wynn. I kind of just walked in and said, well, I'm Deven Osborne. I'm a development intern. I kind of lied a little, said, I'm here for real estate stuff. But I was really trying to figure out if we could get into the school. And he was super cool with the idea, and he loved it. So he ended up placing us with his 5th grade class. So me and the group of athletes that I found, we came in and taught the 5th grade class at Freedom Prep for 5 weeks in April, which I know is National Financial Literacy Month. But we kind of renamed it because we're athletes. We renamed it Money Good Month. So if you ever see that, just know April's always been Money Good Month. But we ended up going there and teaching them, telling them just the 3 basic lessons that we taught ourselves: is budget, save, and invest. And we ended up ending the whole thing with, are you smarter than a 5th grader? And it was super cool. But during those classes, first, I didn't realize how smart 5th graders were, because they were beyond when I was a 5th grader. But the coolest thing that we did is that we started off giving these things called money good dollars. We started off with $500 in cash, and we gave it to them. But then, first thing we did right after that was, you know what? You gotta pay state income tax. You gotta pay federal tax. And I've never seen a bunch of 5th graders so sad to give up money in their life. We took like $150 with them, and they got mad. How can I get it back? What can I do? So we kind of gave them an opportunity where we gave these scenario cards. So we had a deck of cards. It was, if you got like a 9, you get $15 because you mowed the lawn. If you got a 10, you broke your leg, you go to the hospital, so you have to pay $100. And then if you got the Joker, you went bankrupt. And we had like 4 kids go bankrupt, and they kind of cried. One kid actually cried, and it was sad, but that's real life scenario. So the Team Money Good thing was a cool kind of launching point to what we kind of started doing afterwards. And I kind of show you guys right here. So that original team, which I don't know if the picture's up there, but so these are the 2 classes, or actually we taught 3 classes, I don't have the last picture, but these are the 3 classes. So we went to Freedom Prep 3 years in a row down there in St. George. We taught 3 5th grade classes for 4 weeks. And we always ended up, are you smarter than a 5th grader? And we lost every time because 5th graders are super smart. But Team Money Good kind of started expanding, not just into financial literacy, but more kind of community-based, teaching the athletes life skills. We worked at a Chick-fil-A, we put on a celebrity flag football game, we worked at a Culver's, we did Instagram reels, so many different things, and it was a cool opportunity. Because see, some of these are some of the top athletes from that university. They're getting life skills and skills that they would have never gotten before while they're playing while they're playing their sport. So it was a super cool opportunity, and I'm super grateful for it. So from that, we budgeted, we saved, we taught 5th graders, we taught high schoolers, we taught at Crimson Cliffs down there in Desert Hills. We even taught an incoming freshman year college course at the university. I still don't know how they let us do that, but let us do it. We even taught a kindergarten through 2nd grade class, and that was a lot of patience that we never knew we needed. And one of the coolest classes we taught was a homeschool class down there at it's called I forgot what it's called. It's an incubator. It's like an entrepreneurship incubator spot down in St. George, but they had to teach a homeschool class with a bunch of homeschool kids. And we were teaching about the budget, we were teaching about saving, then we got into investing, and then we started talking about compound interest. And the coolest thing kind of happened where the kids, these are kids, they kind of lose track of what's going on and what's like life and things like that. But we're talking about compound interest, the whole little simple, like, if you double a penny a day, what would that end up being in a month? And, you know, kids were like, $100, $300, whatever. And then I think, and I might have forgot, but it's like 3-point-something million or something like that. And the parents' eyes that were in the classroom just lit up. And at that point, and they started asking me a lot of questions about what's my interest, what can I do, what's a RAFRA, all these different types of things. And I realized that it wasn't just us as college athletes. This wasn't just us as K through 12th graders and things like that. It's kind of everybody that's going through this type of situation. So we kind of wanted to innovate and move on and making sure that our athletes were good for life after sports, because they're eventually going to become adults. Not all of us are going to become professional athletes. Not all of us are going to be this or that. We're not going to sign $1 million contract. So I really took it upon myself to make sure our athletes are good for down the line. So I'm going to go over 3 stories that kind of happened with our athletes. And these are all male athletes. And the reason why I say they're male athletes is because all of your athletes in our program were killers. They were way smarter than us by far. They already had all the financial knowledge and everything like that. If anything, they were teaching us the whole time. So just wanted to throw that out, that the ladies are way smarter than us guys right now. So right here is Hayden Hickson. He was a walk-on football player down there at Utah Tech. And if you're a walk-on, that means you get no scholarship money. So he had to pay all of his tuition, he had to pay all of his rent, he had to pay for his room and board, food and everything like that. He came up to me kind of really in the early parts of Money Good and said like, Dad, I need your help trying to figure out the budget, because, you know, he was a couple thousand in debt. He didn't know what to do. He didn't really know where he was going. And I said, okay. So we sat down, we got a budget going, and I said, and this is for the second semester, so January up until April. And I said, okay, number one thing, let's just pay all your fixed expenses off right now. So he paid off his rent, paid off his tuition. We kind of started getting a little budget going on with his food, how he's gonna buy food and how he's gonna cook food and not go to In-N-Out or any of that stupid stuff. And it kind of worked out. So during the springtime with football players, we don't have any games, so all of us are typically working, especially at kind of the lower level. So, you know, working at the park, doing referee, things like that. So we got him a job working as a referee at one of the rec centers. So he did that throughout the spring semester and kept on with his budget and made sure that he was, you know, filling in everything correctly. And I laugh because, you know, it's so funny because I'm like, man, that whole 3, 4, 5 months of this was crazy. But now looking back at it, it's funny because, you know, he's grown so much. But at the end of it, he ended up saving around $3,000 to $4,000 in money. Just by simply just budgeting, paying off all of the expenses from the start, working, and making sure he's still doing all, dotting his I's, crossing his T's, and everything like that. And he, as a walk-on, ended up saving almost $3,000 to $4,000 a month, just by simple budgeting. The next guy is Kobe Williams, and I laugh about this guy because he was, I'm a receiver and he was a DB, and we were kind of the matchup all the time during practice, always arguing, sometimes fighting and all that. But he's originally from Texas, and his big thing is he calls himself the Eagle. And you know DBs or corners are kind of arrogant, little self-centered, and I hope he can see this one day so I can tell it to his face. But he's a funny dude. But he so after we all graduated, he ended up playing in the CFL, which is a super cool opportunity. He was there as a boy and he's originally from Texas. But while he was in Canada, his car got stolen, and you know that's such, you know, life happens, you know, part of the journey, things happen. He posted on Instagram, as everybody does now. He posted on Instagram saying, "What car should I buy? Should I buy a 2023, or at that time, 2023 Dodge Challenger, or should I buy a 2023 the new Ford Mustang, electric Ford Mustang?" And I immediately DM'd him. I said, "Bro, what are you talking about? Like, why are you buying a car?" And he explained the situation. I said, "Okay, so I'm sorry that you lost your car, but like, you think this is the best way, and those are the best options, because those are some expensive cars." And then he, kid you not, broke it down to me in text. I wish I could show you guys the text, but he said, "Okay, I just got a job teaching at the high school down here in Texas. I'm also a football coach. In football in Texas, they actually pay their coach's salary. They a lot of money." He got $75K coaching football, so I don't know, I might be moving coaching soon. But so he got $75K coaching, and then also teaching, and then he's also a personal trainer on the side. And he broke it down to me, and he makes around $6,500 a month, which is monthly income. And then the loan and the interest that he was going to get, and the down payment he already had saved, and he made it all happen. And in my eyes, this is also the same guy that I met 3 years before that didn't know anything about budgeting, didn't know anything about saving, and now he's getting ready to buy, and he bought the Mustang, a new, brand new blue electric Mustang, and his car came in now after he refinances like around $210. So he did a really good job in saving and making sure that he was prepared for those situations, and this was after football. So the next scenario is one of my good friends. His name is Deven, originally from Las Vegas, Nevada, but we played receiver together. Key thing when we talk about investing is, and I heard it yesterday, but you know, students when they hear investing, oh, I'm going to buy crypto, or I'm gonna put 100,000 into the stock market, and it's gonna, like, you know, there's all this stuff. Every kid wants to invest, but they don't understand like kind of the process to get to investing. But one of the key things we talked about at Team Money Good is that we didn't talk really about stocks or real estate or anything. One, because we weren't really certified to, so I didn't want to get in trouble. But two, I told them that investing doesn't just have to be into an asset or whatever, it could be into yourself. So Jumani came to me after, I want to say like year one, and said like, hey Dev, like, you know, I'm really thinking about saving money because I want to get this tattoo. And I'm like, okay, like, tattoo, I don't really want tattoos or anything like that. But he said, like, I really want this, you know, it's his mom's name is actually right there. It's his mom's name in some language. And, but it costs $800 right now, and my budget is around, I think he's saving around $100 or $120 a week, and he wants to get to that goal. But one of the key things we talked about is, okay, so if you want this, you know, you have to make sure you're disciplined and you're investing into the right, because this is investing in yourself, and this is something that can never get taken off or anything like that. And he ended up doing it in almost literally 4 or 5 weeks, just by being disciplined and understanding what you want, and he invested in himself, you know. Investing does not always have to be, like I said, stocks or real estate. It could be into yourself or something that you want. And we've had, not just this, but we've had people pay off trips and do other things. So, like I said, the ladies were smarter than the guys. And I wanted to show you 2 of them. So, and I wanted to give a background. So, I don't know if anybody's from the Grant School District, but right here is Ashlyn. She graduated from the Olympics. She was a big-time soccer player down at Utah Tech. It was a killer. And then on the left, I really wanted to give her spotlight is LB, because Ashlyn will talk in the video. But LB, big-time soccer player, originally from Arizona. I think she has family still here in Salt Lake. But as athletes, we never really, like, when we talk to each other, we never ask that, well, what's your degree? Or what do you plan on doing in 4 or 5 years? We're kind of either partying or, you know, having the time to relax and things like that. So, and I've known LB since our freshman year together, but I never really understood, never knew what she was going to do or life or anything like that. So when we started Team Money Good and I was recruiting athletes, I recruited her because one, she was a cool friend, and, you know, she was one of the best soccer players at our school. But then as I got to know her, I found out she's majored in accounting. Her mom's a big-time real estate realtor down in Arizona. And the coolest story I heard is that her and her mom bought a piece of real estate down, or a property down in St. George for her to live in. And eventually when she graduates, what she did, she's gonna rent it out to the rest of the soccer girls or other athletes and things like that. And that was kind of gonna be like her little life savings, a little plan right there. So I thought that was a cool story that an athlete kind of did it before their time, because now NIL deals that included real estate stuff, but she kind of did it from the start, and she had a good parent, good role model in her mom to, you know, help her buy a piece of property. Super cool opportunity, but let me. I don't know what that about. Oh. I think I need Wi-Fi, sorry. Brief commercial break, yeah. We're all for nights. And you guys can do it. Yeah. So I'm starting off early.
for me, being on Team Money Good has kind of, I'd say mostly shown me different perspectives of money. Everyone comes from different backgrounds and everyone has different attitudes towards money, so it's kind of interesting to see how people handle themselves and be influenced by it. So for me, I've learned a lot of how to manage it and just how to even like look at it and how I can make it influence my life in a better way rather than letting it control me. So along with that, I'd say even just surrounding myself with people who make me want to kind of learn more about it and push me has been, so that's made me grow as a person along.
So the reason why I think that comes back, I mean, we had a lot of clips where they're teaching, talking about so many different things, is because when I first got told about this opportunity, I was kind of like, oh, I don't know if they want to listen to this kid come talk to you guys or anything like that. But what she kind of said at the end is talking about a group of people motivating you to become something better. Like I've never seen something like this about people with the same type of with kind of aiming for the same goal, wanting the same opportunity, wanting everybody to say, especially the kids, to be better at financial literacy. And I thought it was just a cool opportunity. I thought this was super cool, and that's something that we kind of try to emulate at Team Money Good. Is where we all wanted to kind of be successful, making sure that we're good with our finances. And we try to be a good community of athletes together to kind of push everybody forward. So that was one of our big MOs. So I want to thank Asha for that. So, biggest thing is now, where do we go now? Because college ends. As much as I probably didn't want to end and I had so much fun, college ends. I mean, we went from teaching, we became a big family, we had so much fun, and then we ended up all graduating. Just along by this picture, we had those two are playing in Spain and Germany. They're playing basketball. One of the girls over there, Amanda, she's a head photographer for the Chiefs now. So she won a Super Bowl a couple years ago. Obviously me, Kobe's in Texas, Dinash is playing football in Germany. LB's a forensics accountant down in Arizona. So we all kind of just moved on into our own journey. So what was gonna happen with Team Money Good? So obviously naturally it was gonna follow me somewhere, and ended up following me up here. So when I moved up to Salt Lake City, my biggest thing is that I wanted to make sure I was gonna be focused on education. I came here to get my master's in real estate development. And I was done with football. I just dislocated my shoulder, my collarbone, I had surgery. 15, 17 years of football, I ain't done, and I don't want to do it. Then I moved up here, one of my former coaches texted me and said, you want to come coach football? And obviously I said yes. And so I ended up coaching my first year up here at Alta High School. And it was a fun time, and then I ended up moving on and started coaching football at West High. And this is good. This is probably real-time feedback. So the ladies that was speaking before me talked about burnout and saying you need to say no. I probably should have said no to some of these opportunities. My then football coach at West High then asked me to coach girls basketball. So now I'm coaching two sports, and then after that, it all kind of blew up or whatever, and now I'm coaching football down at Mountain Ridge. So I could never stay away from sports, but as you guys know, there's kind of two worlds when it comes to athletes. There's the student and then there's the athlete. As much as the NCAA kind of puts them together and wants to say all that, there's really no such thing as a student athlete because there's two separate worlds and there's two separate ways of going about it. So what I wanted to do is show you guys the athlete and then the student. So, and my fault. So during that time, I kind of noticed they're not all the high school players that I was going with, coaching, where they're still kind of struggling through the same issue that we had. And it's not because they didn't have all you amazing people, because they shouldn't have all you amazing people, but it's just because they didn't know the access and the opportunities that they were given here. And honestly, me and Justin were talking about yesterday, half of our football team on average is not taking the financial literacy class, and that's kind of sad, and they need to, it should be. And we need to make sure that it's put out there and that access is opportunity. So what I try to do is always try to bring the two worlds together and try to do my best to bring the athlete and the student together. So what we did was combine the logo and put a football guy up there and said, you know what, now we're a sports team. And what we did was started a 7-on-7 football team called Money Good Boys. And this is all some of the top high school players in the state of Utah playing football together. So here's the athlete.
can't see the pain. Baby roll in my pocket, I can make it rain. But when my chains on, she watch them swing. Good one that when I keep it playing. I jumped out the bed and jumped on the plane. I done jumped in my bag, my name on my hand. If you wanna watch your bag, they stay in the lane. I need a money count, big out the front. Taking pictures with my fans in the car store. Yeah, it's the life out of it. Real dream phone. It's that real flow music, get you in that moment. It's that get money, nigga, listen if it's going wrong. It's that shit that nigga.
Yeah, that was a raccoon hat that he wanted to wear. I don't know. You see kids in ski masks, you see kids in snow goggles. 7-on-7 football is crazy. But the cool thing about this team that we kind of created was it wasn't just kids from Downridge, it wasn't just kids from West or out. So we had kids from Brighton High School, Fremont High School, Orem, 10U. We kind of put them all together. You know, we kind of formed an all-star team, to be honest. And we were doing good, but the cool thing that we wanted to push during the 7-on-7 tournaments and these teams is that we're going to also teach you financial literacy. And that's where the student side comes about.
What does it mean to be financially literate?
It's hard to learn things like that. Wait, what does that mean? It's important so that you can make good decisions in the future.
Not spend all your money in one go. First purchase the things you need and save up.
Save your money and just be responsible with it. You know?
You take care of your expenses first and save money for the correct things.
I understand where to put my money, how to make money, how to save money, and be smart with my money.
For me, every quarter that I make, I put it in my piggy bank.
You know what you're doing with your money. It means that your money's good and you budget, save, and invest.
So we wanted to combine the two worlds because, you know, they're out there competing every day. They're super confident. So you can tell with that first video, they're playing together, they're excited, they're having fun being on the field. But, you know, during the timeouts, during the kind of the free time, we also still want to challenge the brains because I'm not going to put them in a classroom for an hour and have them go over budget and things like that. You know, you want to kind of keep it fresh. So during all the tournaments, so we did around 4 or 5 tournaments. And throughout each game or after each session, we used to just ask them as many questions as possible, making sure that we put them in the scenarios that, one, they don't forget what's going on, but two, that kind of plants a seed in their brain that they're kind of going to keep on remembering forever. So that was kind of one cool thing that we turned Team Money Good in. On the high school level, we turned it into the Money Good Boys. So now I kind of want to pivot into this theory, this idea that I kind of have. So I'm not a, actually I'm gonna say, so I was at a conference, if you want to say. I was at a conference and an older guy was speaking, and he was talking about he just came back from some trip in El Paso, and he was talking about how people out there were talking to him about, you know, with this knowledge that I learned and these experiences that I had and kind of the battle scars, this is why it makes me a great teacher and what it makes me a great opportunity. And he kind of had another argument saying, like, you know what? In the world, there's a lot of prodigies out there, people that just get it quickly, get it easily, understand what's going on. And he wanted to kind of debunk the situation. And I kind of talked to him about saying, like, I think the worker is the better teacher. And the reason why I say the worker is the better teacher is because you guys have the lessons, you guys have the life experience, the actual real opportunities that you guys have been through, and the real situations that you guys have been through to actually help put the kids in the best situations. The number one thing that I feel like is the best teacher in life, and it's obviously you guys as well, but the best teacher in life is your own experience. And also the experience that you have that you can provide for the next generation. The kids aren't going to understand, you know, all the, sometimes not the simulations, the word problems in the math book or in the science book or whatever, but they're going to see real life situations. You know, the biggest argument when I was growing up was, does this apply in real life? Does algebra 2 apply in real life? Or does, you know, this or that? And financial literacy applies in real life every single day, regardless of who you are, regardless of what form of job you're doing, anything like that. You have to be financially literate in order to be good in this world. So I kind of wanted to say thank you guys for being a worker and always, you know, using your real life examples and situations that you've been through. Because, you know, not everybody can be a prodigy, but the workers, in my opinion, always end up being the best teachers in this life. So thank you guys for that. So now, this is where we get fun. So, has anybody actually played football? Regarding anybody's played football? Perfect. There's a lot of different offenses out there, and this is a Hawaii offense. So my last year at Utah Tech, I had an offensive coordinator called, his name was Craig Stutzman, and he's now the OC at San Jose State. And during my college career, I had 5 OCs. So 5 OCs mean I had 5 different schemes implanted in my brain. And that's a lot of offenses, a lot of terminology, a lot of things going on. But what I love so much about Coach Stutz's offense is that it's called the run and shoot. And I'm not actually going to give a real play because I don't know what school you guys are all from. I don't know if you guys talk to your football coaches. But we're going to call this play road runner. And the cool thing about this road runner play is that on his backside, these 2 receivers have all these options. And what he kind of related to in life, you have all these options. You know, if you want to go left, based off of this situation, you can go left. If you want to go right, off of this situation, you can go right. And this offense gives you the opportunity to have a right answer for everything. And I think it's so cool because as we're going into these classrooms and teaching this curriculum, yes, there's a curriculum. The curriculum is the scheme, but sometimes you have to tailor it toward the personnel, and that's what he did with us. So I'm 6'8" receiver, and I think I'm pretty fast. And at first I wanted to be this guy because he had all the options. But with my body frame, my size, and everything like that, I can't make all of these cuts the same way a 5'10" and a 6'4" receiver could. But so that's why he put me out here. Because Deven, all you need to do is run straight, sit down, or man step it across. And I was like a little sad, but then I realized that the scheme is what we have, but you got to fit it to your personnel. You got to fit it to your students. You know, we're gonna have students that have different economic backgrounds. There might be a student that's super rich. I mean, there's a kid at Mowers right now. Same thing, but he has a Tesla Plaid. And I'm like, how do you have a Tesla Plaid? You're 17 years old. But then I had a kid that had to ride the tracks to school, you know, and that's the situation. But the way that kid with the Tesla Plaid, how I have to teach him how to budget would be totally different. I would teach the kid from West Side that's on the tracks. So when we're talking about personnel matching with the scheme, the personnel of the student, the scheme is our curriculum, but it's how we teach it and how we incorporate it, making sure that every student is still feel included and be able to still have fun and ball out on the field or in life. So the personnel matching the scheme is something that's truly important to me and something that we kind of did a lot with Team Money Good and making sure that each athlete, each opportunity, they could ball out. So, kind of key takeaways, and this is just overall, I'm gonna reiterate myself, but there's gonna be one thing that I didn't bring up, and I kind of forgot to bring up, but don't compare yourself. I tell my athletes all the time, so we're at Mowers now, it's a 6A school. A lot of the kids, and I will speak too much on high school football or the politics of it, but a lot of kids from that area don't go to the high school, and especially like the good athletes, they don't go to the Mowers. A lot of them go to Lone Peak, a lot of them go to the Corner Canes and things like that. And then they look at the same people that they grew up with. Oh, he has 5, 6 offers from BYU, Utah, San Jose State. And, you know, but we were the same in 8th grade, we were the same, and I was better than him, this and that. And that's the number one thing I always tell them, that just don't compare yourself. Remember, your journey is completely different from somebody else's, regardless of who you are, what God gave you, or anything like that. Making sure that you stay on your journey and don't compare yourself to nobody else. And that's the same thing with finances. I am not going to be comparing myself to Bill Gates. I will never compare myself to Bill Gates. Because me and Bill Gates, one, I'm not on the same tax bracket, but we're not the same people. We're going to have different ideology and things that we want to focus on in life. So number one, don't compare yourself. Another thing, learn to teach, teach to learn. I tell my receivers every day that our varsity guys say, go out and teach the freshmen. You guys get mad and yell at these freshmen because they don't know how to do the dash, or they know how to do this, but you don't want to teach them. And what is that going to do? It forces you to learn more. Because when I yell at them, when they're not doing the gashers, it's the same thing. So how about you learn it? You learn, go teach it to the younger generation, and that will help you reinforce knowledge that you already know. And then lastly, number one, the power of mentorship. There was a teacher here that got an award yesterday, and I was going to say a completely different story, but her story is, it made me so happy. But I think she was from Oregon High School, but she talked about how after students took her class, they were emailing her saying like, oh, Miss Such and Such, I got a 401k, oh, Miss Such and Such, I got scholarships, what scholarships should I take? And this is after they're taking the class. Some of them already graduated, oh, Miss Such and Such, I got a Roth IRA. And I think that's the power of mentorship, and we can't let that go away. Because one, that's just juice for us. You know, students come back with success stories is really a good opportunity for us to just keep on doing our work. And I feel like the power of mentorship is something that's kind of going away a little bit, but I think it's really important that, you know, you guys are mentors for your students, regardless of what area they're in. You know, you have some kids that just don't understand it, and you gotta keep on working with them, but those are end up being some of your brightest students possible. So I wanted to talk about the power of mentorship. And then the second one, the best teacher life is your own experience. And my experience, I probably would have never been on the stage if I didn't blow through $30,000. Now, as much as I probably regret that, but that experience in my life got me to where I'm at right now, and I'm super excited for the future and to continue this journey on. And you know, this thing we call life and this journey that we're going to keep on going, like, it doesn't stop. There's no destination. If you just keep going, you keep going, you keep going, and you know, you end up dead, but you just keep going. So, you know, I truly appreciate it. And then lastly, I already talked about the scheme matching the personnel. Make sure the curriculum matches your guys' students, and you guys do a good job at it, and you guys keep on doing it. And then love the journey, because there's truly no destination. I said that, but yeah, I just love this process, and I love being part of it. I'm like, I guess, the young guy in here, and I'm super excited to be part of this coalition and all you amazing group of people. And I'm excited because, you know, the journey's not gonna stop, and I'm gonna keep on loving it. And it might not love me back sometimes, but it's just part of it. So I'm thankful for that. So, and then lastly, so my mom is my world to me, and she didn't know I was doing this or speaking at this, but she sent this to me and my older sister, I want to say like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I thought it hit me so. It was just perfect. It was perfect, and the reason why it was so perfect is because I was fresh out of a master's program. Didn't know what I was going to do. I did not know about the teaching thing. I thought I was probably going to be working for like a CW or Edge Homes or any of those guys. Didn't know what I was going to do because I was like a little scared for my finances. But the quote is, if you run out of money after paying all your bills and taking care of home, you're not broke, you're responsible. And I think that's something that's so huge that a lot of students need to hear, that just because you have $5 in your account, but you have no debt because you paid everything off, that you're still a champion, you're still winning in life. And I think that's something so important that we can't go to waste, and making sure our students hear that and we kind of emphasize that. So, I mean, shout out Mom, always. And then, well, obviously, thank you. But I'm truly grateful for this opportunity. I'm truly grateful to be part of you guys. Growing up, I wish I had something like this, had teachers like you guys in my high school, because I probably would have been way smarter and understood a lot of things. But I'm glad that you guys are here now, because I'm big into prevention and preventing, and I want you guys to prevent, you know, the next Deven from not losing $30,000 or the next such and such and things like that. So keep on doing what you guys are doing. I'm super grateful, and obviously I'm always available if you guys ever want to talk or anything like that. If you guys want my number, feel free to come up and ask for my number. That might be the best way. I don't really look at my email sometimes. But thank you guys so much.